Reading have gone 5 points clear at the top of the table. The brilliant start continues for them. They beat Rotherham 3-0. So we talk a bit about Reading's viability now, but with every week that passes, we get a little bit more evidence, don't we, that Reading could have a really, really good season. Let's have a look at the two teams there. So Reading starting Estevez, the highly rated right back. Paunovic has eased him in gently, hasn't he, and given him a couple of weeks before his first start. But in he goes to that established back five. Laurent and Rinamoto, they're the protection. They're not changing. Lucas Zhao on the bench. Michael Elise on the bench. So a bit of rotation resulting in a 3-0 win always works well, doesn't it? So Maite off the right, Puskas up top, Ejaria and Semedo. I'm still hanging out for Ejaria to come into the 10 and Zhao to start down the left. And that looks a really powerful front four, doesn't it? For Rotherham, Blackman in goal, Hardinger, Heckwell, Wood and Mattock is quite staid now. Angus MacDonald will come in again after his suspension, one would assume. McDonald, Barlassa, Lindsay, Joseph Soon and Wiles wide with Smith starting up top. In this one, let's have a look at the goals. The opener here, I've taken the freeze frame just to show you that if this was the Premier League, and I haven't had an angle from the side, it looks very, very tight. Maybe, is that Ihekwa sort of crouched the third Rotherham shirt over? I don't know unless I see the VAR angle. This would go to VAR in the Premier League, and we would find out whether Maite is a millimetre onside or a millimetre offside. But this is the Championship. So we have a human. Obviously, then everyone steps up. Maite looks way offside, but he might not be. I haven't seen a conclusive or inconclusive angle. And Maite sticks it through Blackman's legs to give Reading the opener. So some doubt there. If someone can show me the side view and disprove that he's either on or offside, then that would be great. I haven't seen it yet. What we do know is the second goal by Maite is absolutely brilliant. And he's got this. He's a very sort of powerful player, but he can score a worldie, Maite. We've seen him score a few. I remember being at a game against Fulham last year, and they've been absolutely hammered, Reading, and then he just smashed one in from way, way out. So could be a breakout season maybe for Maite. But look at that, chests it up in the air, and it's a flying left foot overhead volley. And look where he puts it, for goodness sake, right into the top corner there. So if there was any doubt about the first goal, we'll give him huge props for the second goal, which was brilliant, wasn't it? Penalty for the third. Blackman goes the right way. Lucas Zhao sticks it into the corner. And Reading win again. Let's have a look at the numbers. And the numbers say, look at that. Rotherham, 64% possession. How many times are Rotherham going to have 64% possession this year? They're normally the ones with 36 themselves, but 10 shots to 7 for Rotherham. But then look at it, the flip side, 6 on target versus 2, 4 corners to 5, 2 big chances to 0. So it looks like Reading are in that lovely position of being solid, not having much of the ball, but when they do have it, having enough quality to score 3 goals and concede none, which is a lovely way to play, isn't it? Get in front, sit back, say you're not going to score, and then pick off the third goal with a penalty on the break. That sounds pretty decent to me. Rotherham, I think this must be their heaviest defeat. They've been very competitive in all their games, Rotherham, and gone under to a lot of late goals. But when we're looking at Reading's viability, and Reading fans get very prickly about this, but it's not an unreasonable question to ask when Reading have been nowhere near this good in the past couple of seasons. What we're looking for is evidence that this is going to continue. Now, obviously, every week they continue essentially winning, basically. They've only drawn 1 game, haven't they? It becomes more and more viable. The numbers do stack up. The numbers say they're very good defensively. They're very stable at the back, only really Estevez. But that entire keeper, 4, and then the double pivot in front doesn't really change. And then it says that between Puskas, Zhao, Maite, Elise, Ejaria. Remember, Swift is injured as well. They have enough quality to go and get goals. That's what we're seeing at the moment. So if they're the real deal, this will continue. If they are winning tight games and things are going for them, there'll be a slight regression. Or if this is a complete fluke, they will tumble down the table. I don't know where we are, but 7 games in, 6 wins and a draw. It doesn't look like much of a fluke to me now. It looks great. And what a start by Paunovic. That would be my assessment of it. Let's look at what you guys are saying over in the comments. Langley says, Maite is the most confusing footballer I've ever watched. You hear me say it loads of times. There's a player in there, isn't there? But yeah, Pauno has acknowledged Reading aren't the finished article. He's an impressive manager. Looks like it to me, doesn't it? Estevez nearly scored a worldie off the bat. You can't argue with us defensively. 6 clean sheets out of 7. That's a very good point. So, and there looks viability both ends. The clean sheets are coming, and the goals are there, but they're really being massively efficient, aren't they, at the moment? Captain Potato says Reading are performing way above their XG. Their 10th defensively are doing there. There will be a drop-off. I mean, I think Captain Potato makes a good point there, talking about the XG. Where I would go against, he said, there will be a drop-off. I would correct and say, there may be a drop-off. Remember, one of 2 things happens when someone's massively outperforming their XG. Either there is the drop-off and the regression to the mean, or it rights itself and they start to perform the XG. So there may be a drop-off, but to say there would be guessing. And then Captain Potato says, but XG is stupid. Well, there you go. XG isn't stupid. It's just another nuance we can look at to try and predict the future, basically. Maybe predicting the future is stupid, but there you go. What we will say is well done, Reading, on an absolute... That's one thing we can say absolutely definitively. Reading's start has been brilliant and well done. Whether it will continue or not, we will figure it out. But yeah, big thumbs up for Reading so far, who are 5 points clear. So there we go. Ashley says, I think it's new manager effect here. Alistair says, you don't need many shots when you take them. Yeah, and I would agree with 2 things there, or I'd make 2 points rather. Yes, you don't need many shots when you take them if your finishing is good. And also, you don't need many chances if they're big chances, is what I will say. In this game, Maite's first one is a big chance, and Zhao's penalty is obviously a huge chance. Look, there's a worldie in the middle, and that is an example of not having many shots and finishing clinically. But that is the way it works. Langley says, if we start to beat Blackburn, I'll start to believe. I think when it starts to get up to 10, 12 games and you're way ahead of 2 points per game, you start to actually get to a point where nerds like me start to do calculations and say, look, for them to now finish in the playoffs, if we extrapolate the remaining 35, 36 games or whatever, you start to say they only need to play reasonably well now for 35 games and they will make the playoffs when you actually do the points calculation. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.